Long before sunrise, the barracks are already awake. No alarm clocks, no shouted commands. A single whistle cuts through the darkness, and dozens of young soldiers leap from their beds. Blankets are folded with perfect precision. Boots strike the cold concrete floor in near silence. Outside, icy mountain air surrounds rows of recruits standing motionless beneath portraits of their country's leaders. The day begins exactly as yesterday did, and exactly as tomorrow will. For most nations, military service is about defending borders. In North Korea, it is something much larger. It shapes identity, education, family life, and nearly every aspect of adulthood. Many of these soldiers have never traveled beyond their hometown. Few have ever seen the outside world, yet they serve in one of the largest standing militaries on Earth, inside one of the world's most secretive states. What does life inside that system actually look like? To answer that, we must first understand why the military became the heart of North Korean society. North Korea's military is born from war. After the Second World War, Korea is divided into two rival states. In 1950, the Korean War erupts, devastating the peninsula and drawing in global powers. When fighting ends in 1953, only an armistice is signed. No peace treaty ever follows. Technically, the war never ends. That reality shapes every generation. The government builds its identity around survival, presenting military strength as essential to the nation's existence. This philosophy evolves into Songun, or military first, giving the armed forces extraordinary political influence. Military service becomes a normal part of life. For many young North Koreans, enlistment is not a career choice. It is simply what comes next. Imagine turning 18. In many countries, it's the beginning of university or a first job. In North Korea, it often means reporting for military service. Recruits are selected through physical examinations, school records, and family background. Political loyalty matters as much as physical fitness. Once accepted, they leave home carrying little more than a change of clothes and a few personal belongings. For some families, it feels like saying goodbye for years. Inside the barracks, individuality disappears almost immediately. Hair is cut short. Uniforms replace civilian clothes. Every movement follows regulation. How to stand, how to salute, how to clean a rifle, even how to fold a blanket. Discipline is constant because predictability is considered strength. Days begin before sunrise with physical training, long-distance runs, obstacle courses, and endless drills. Meals are quick. Silence is common. Weapons training is only one part of military life. Much of a soldier's time is spent building roads, repairing railways, constructing apartments, working on farms, or supporting national infrastructure. The North Korean military functions not only as a fighting force, but also as one of the country's largest labor organizations. Conditions can be harsh. Summer brings exhausting heat. Winter temperatures fall well below freezing. Training continues regardless of the weather. Food has also been a long-standing challenge. During the devastating famine of the 1990s, many military units experienced severe shortages. Today, defectors report that food quality still varies greatly depending on the unit. Elite formations often receive better supplies than remote garrisons, although independent verification remains difficult due to North Korea's isolation. Political education occupies as much attention as physical training. Soldiers regularly attend lectures covering revolutionary history, leadership, and national ideology. These lessons reinforce the belief that defending the country also means protecting its political system. Yet beneath the strict routines are ordinary young people. They joke quietly with friends, celebrate small achievements, count the days until they return home. Even inside one of the world's most disciplined militaries, human emotions never disappear. They simply remain hidden. For some soldiers, service means deployment near the Korean demilitarized zone. Despite its name, the DMZ is one of the most heavily fortified borders on Earth. Observation posts overlook quiet valleys. Minefields stretch across hillsides. Patrols repeat the same routes day after day. Hours pass in complete silence. That silence can be deceptive. A single unexpected sound or movement demands immediate attention. Many soldiers spend years preparing for a war that never comes. Training reflects that uncertainty. Infantry units rehearse assaults through rugged mountains. Engineers practice repairing damaged roads and bridges. Every exercise assumes conflict could begin without warning. The terrain itself becomes an obstacle. Steep mountains, narrow valleys, and dense forests make movement difficult and force soldiers to master the landscape as carefully as their weapons. Then there are the tunnels. Since the 1970s, South Korea has discovered several underground passages beneath the DMZ, believed to have been built for wartime infiltration. North Korea denies constructing them, and whether more remain undiscovered is still unknown. For soldiers stationed nearby, the threat may not only lie ahead, it may lie beneath their feet. Military life in North Korea extends far beyond guarding borders. Across the country, soldiers help build roads, apartments, bridges, factories, and power stations. During planting and harvest seasons, many are sent to farms to ease labor shortages. When floods or typhoons strike, military units are often among the first to clear debris, rebuild damaged communities, and restore vital infrastructure. A North Korean soldier is expected to be more than a fighter. He is also a builder, an engineer, and a disaster responder. Meanwhile, a small number of recruits enter elite units trained for reconnaissance, airborne operations, and special missions. Much about these formations remains secret, but analysts believe they receive more advanced training and play a key role in North Korea's military strategy. An even more unusual battlefield exists far from the mountains. Inside secure government facilities, highly trained cyber specialists wage a different kind of war. Instead of rifles, they use computers. According to multiple governments and cybersecurity researchers, North Korean-linked groups have carried out espionage operations and high-profile cryptocurrency thefts worth billions of dollars. For these digital soldiers, the battlefield has no borders. Their mission is the same as every other branch of the military, to strengthen the state's strategic position. For most recruits, however, daily life remains remarkably repetitive. Training, maintenance, construction, guard duty. Then the cycle begins again. Months slowly become years. Eventually, military service comes to an end. For many soldiers around the world, leaving the military marks the start of a new chapter. In North Korea, the transition is different. After years of living by whistles, inspections, and strict routines, former soldiers return home carrying habits that never truly disappear. They still wake before dawn. They still keep their belongings in perfect order. Discipline has become part of who they are. Many leave the military with practical skills in construction, engineering, farming, logistics, or communications. Military service is also viewed as evidence of loyalty and discipline, qualities that can influence future work assignments. Yet leaving the barracks does not mean leaving the system behind. The values learned during military service continue into civilian life. The military is not separate from society. It is deeply woven into it. Perhaps the greatest challenge of serving in North Korea is not the physical hardship, it is the uncertainty. Every day, soldiers prepare for a war that may never come. Weapons are cleaned, bunkers are maintained. Exercises are repeated. Every drill assumes tomorrow could be different. Yet years pass without combat. At the strategic level, North Korea has increasingly focused on missile technology, nuclear weapons, special operations forces, and cyber capabilities. These dominate international headlines, but the average soldier has little involvement with them. His daily life is much simpler. Stand guard, follow orders, train, wait. Many details of that life remain difficult to verify. Independent journalists have little access to North Korea, so researchers rely on satellite imagery, official publications, intelligence reports, and testimony from defectors. Some questions remain unanswered. That uncertainty is part of understanding the country itself. As night falls over the Korean peninsula, the contrast is unmistakable. South Korea shines with dense city lights. Much of North Korea remains in darkness. Somewhere within that darkness, another young soldier begins his shift. He checks his equipment, adjusts his uniform, looks across a border that has remained divided for more than 70 years. He does not know whether history will remain quiet tomorrow, only that he must be ready if it does not. The story of North Korea's soldiers is not simply about weapons or military power. It is about ordinary people living inside an extraordinary system, one built on discipline, sacrifice, and constant readiness. Whether viewed through the lens of history, politics, or human experience, one truth remains. Behind every formation stands an individual. Behind every uniform is a family. And behind one of the world's most secretive militaries are millions of lives shaped not only by the possibility of war, but by the demands of preparing for it every single day. Long before the world wakes, another whistle will echo through another barracks. Rows of soldiers will rise in silence. Boots will strike the floor. Another day will begin exactly as the last one ended, because in North Korea, readiness is not simply a military condition. For those who serve, it is a way of life.